Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for April 11th. In 1836, General Sam Houston received a scouting report that Mexican forces were moving down the Brazos River for a probable lower crossing, rather than at San Felipe where the troops of Mosley Baker guarded the east bank. Realizing his location on the west bank was tenuous, Houston decided to ferry his army over the Brazos and ordered all his men to assemble at Charles Donahoe's plantation, where the road from Groch's Landing to Harrisburg and the Nacogdoches Road intersected. He had previously arranged with Captain Johnny Ross of the Yellowstone to ferry his army across the Brazos. For these services, Houston promised each crew member 1/3 league of land, nearly 1,500 acres, and officers a proportionately larger quantity. This same day, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna reached Fort Bend on the Brazos, but found Texas forces on the opposite bank. He also learned that Houston's main force was on the west bank of the Brazos, north of San Felipe, and that the Texas government had moved from Washington on the Brazos to Harrisburg. In 1840, William Barton died on the land he had patented in 1837. Barton came to Texas in 1828, where he acquired a reputation as a loner and a fearless Indian hunter. When a neighbor settled within 10 miles of his cabin, he moved about 45 miles up the Colorado River to a location near present-day Austin. The creek and spring on the land he owned now bear his name, Barton Creek, and Barton Springs. In 1842, George H. French began printing the Daily News in Galveston. In 1845, as the News, it became a major voice in the Republic of Texas, as well as a strong critic of Sam Houston. Alfred H. Below became principal owner in 1875, and in 1876 linked the News building to his home in Galveston with the state's first telephone system. The Dallas Morning News was founded out of the Galveston News on October 1st, 1885. The News was acquired in 1963 by the William P. Hobby family, then sold again in 1967, and continues as a daily morning publication. It remains the oldest continuously operated business in Texas. In 1844, Josiah P. Wahlberger, survivor of the 1833 scalping, died at his home in Bastrop. He arrived at Matagorda in 1827 and moved to a site near Bastrop. In 1833, he was a member of a surveying party that was attacked by Indians near Pecan Spring, about 4 miles east of present-day Austin. He was scalped and left for dead, but was found the next day. Though he did not fully recover, he lived 11 more years. Walbarger County was named for him and his brother, and in 1932, the remains of Josiah and his wife were reinterred in the Texas State Cemetery. In 1940, Red Goldman, legendary outlaw of the Big Thicket, was shot and killed. Goldman was born in Countsy in 1909, and after a life of crime in the Texas oil fields, where he killed at least one person and robbed several banks, he returned to the Big Thicket area, where he was involved in shootings, kidnapping, and robbery. The end came when the notorious Red Fox of the Big Thicket met his fate in a barrage of gunfire by Texas and Louisiana officers at his parents' home in Hardin County. In 1958, Harvey L. Van Cliburn Jr. won the first international Tchaikovsky piano competition in Moscow at age 23. He was born in Shreveport in 1934 and moved to Kilgore at age 6. In the competition, he played Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto and Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 3. And when the judges asked Nikita Khrushchev about giving the prize to an American, Khrushchev responded, "Is he the best? Then give him the prize." Cliburn received a ticker tape parade down Wall Street in his return, New York's first such parade for a musician. His first recording, Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto, was the first classical recording to sell 1 million copies, and was Cliburn's favorite piece. He initiated the annual International Piano Competition in Fort Worth in 1962. Van Cliburn passed away in Fort Worth in 2013. And in 1971, Charles Cootie won the Masters Tournament by 2 strokes over Johnny Miller and Jack Nicklaus. Cootie was born at Stanford in 1937 and at Stanford High School was the Texas Class A golf champion. He won 3 events on the PGA Tour, was a member of the victorious U.S. Ryder Cup team in 1971, and won 5 events on the Senior Tour. Cootie is a member of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. And that, my friend, was your Texas History Roundup for April 11th. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow on the next one. You take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.